Together, we are shaping the future of learning. We hope as we mature and learn the ropes, I'm quite sure we will improve your experience at the masterclass. So the Saturday session will always stay masterclass. The sessions on other days, as you have gathered in the conversations, will have their own branding and their own positioning. Thank you, Gurdeep, for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
So it's a wonderful.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just telling Manisha a little while back how beautifully they've set up the new equipment here. See the look you get and the quality of the reception. Would you like to open the chapter, please?
Yes, sir. I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, you can share your screen. I can stop share.
Is it visible, sir?
Yeah. You will also share the first 10 minutes. So you
Okay.
keep this tab
This
open.
one.
Oh,
This
you already
one?
got that. Okay.
Yes.
Chapter 11, you got that. Great. And then you've got chapter 12 in one tab.
Yeah, this is 12.
Yeah, this we will do after this thing.
Okay. This is 11 chapter. 11 chapter, yeah.
Absolutely. So it just makes things easier.
So you want me to read the questions? Shall we wait?
Yeah. Let's wait another minute or so. It's not yet time. We are just settling down. Alpna, Palak, Sharuti, Supriti, welcome to the master class on Saturday. If you want to say something, you have the chat box. Emoticons are allowed. You can raise your hand. If you want to become panelist, most welcome. If you want to take my place, most welcome. I'm happy to have you lead. And that's where we want to take most teachers, that they should be able to actually run the masterclass sessions at their end. That's the spirit of us at masterclass. So welcome everyone. This is a beautiful Saturday evening. It's the 25th day of January 2025. We started the masterclass for 2025 on 11th of January. We have perhaps got it now right in terms of getting used to the platform. Thank you for your patience. We last week read chapter 11 and we will do a little recap. This is how we will work every time. We will do a recap of the chapter. And after we do the recap of the chapter, we will read a new chapter. And after we finish reading the new chapter, we will create the reflection. So what we'll try and do in this 1 hour, which we've always been wanting to do, is ensure that your experience is 360, and beyond this 1 hour, we don't want to take your time. So I'm going to suggest one thing. If you can, go to happyteacher.in on your computer or your phone, what you see on the screen, there is a comment box below. So when we discuss these questions, we want you to put your thoughts there. Don't go to, 11.1. Okay, just go to the, open the comment box for 11, chapter 11. No comments, okay? Just open this, please. So this is what a comment box looks like. So we want you to answer the question in the comment box here. But you can do it at your end. Unless you write it in the chat here or you write it in WhatsApp, and then we will, after this session, create a post out of that. We can even do that. So you have all ways of reflection. You can write here, you can reflect here, reflect now. We will use 10-15 minutes of this session to make you reflect, because it's not about your coming here to watch the screen. It's about your reflection. And that's what makes the masterclass special. So thank you again for joining us. The questions we have in front of us. The first question I have with me on my panel today, Jugjeev sir. I have also with me on my panel Gurdeep, and I have Manisha. Jugjeev sir, you're promoted as a panelist. Please come in as a panelist. So the first question, last week we read A School Called Home. And if we actually look at a home, it perhaps is a more complete school than the school you come to in for 6 hours. And that's the beauty of a school called home. What you see today as a school or schooling is only a figment of imagination. It's a system. But let me tell you, if you read the chapter last week, the real schooling is in your home. And we saw how Shomie's life happened. We saw how Shomie grew up, and till he ended up going to Doon school at the age of 10, 11. He didn't even go to formal school. And look at him. He headed ultimately 3 schools. He created a chain of schools, which goes to show that the school called home from age 0 to 10 is all powerful. So the questions are very simple. Over to you, Gurdeep.
Okay, so I'll read out the questions. So question number 1. The mother in the chapter plays a vital role in shaping the child's learning experience by reading stories and ensuring a nurturing environment. How can schools engage parents more actively in their child's learning journey? And how can teachers collaborate with families to extend learning beyond the classroom?
Okay, pause. We want you to write a comment below this on the post. Gurdeep, you can start writing the comment. Yeah, so everyone can do that on the blog at their end. Gurdeep is writing hers.
I'm muting myself, so I'll write.
Yeah, do that. That's important. Please comment on this first question. We will use 15 minutes of the masterclass for commenting time. And we have to have teachers to comment. We have to have you write. That then only we will make any progress with the masterclass. So as you don't have time in the week to even write your comments, I think it's a great idea you write them right here. So go to happyteacher.in and write a comment. Gurdeep will try and handle all the 4 questions. So it should be 5 minutes per question.
Fine, sir. Fine.
Yeah. Are you finished with your comment?
Yeah, I'll write in brief.
Yeah, write your comment and publish it. We are doing it here live, but in the coming week, people can do it in the week. That's what we hope they can do it. So reflections will have to come on the blog. So when you use programs, Gurdeep, it should be programs, S, not program. There's a difference in program and programs. And I want people to figure that out, the difference between programs and programs.
Now it's fine.
Yeah, it's perfect. Do
Okay.
correct the second one also.
Yeah. Yes.
You have a space with the comma in the first sentence, guest speaker programs. Yeah, get that right. Perfect. as partners. You can make remove the space and leave a full stop. Yeah, let this be a sample comment and you can publish it. So once you publish this, now I want to see how many more come below this. Okay. So we want others to comment. Let's go to the next question, please.
So question number 2, like the one in the chapter, a child learns to read, write, and do arithmetic in a home-based setting for a few hours daily. The routine includes storytelling, exploration, and breaks for creativity. So there is a strong emphasis on balancing academics with free play. As a teacher, what strategies, say for example, differentiated learning, project-based learning, can you adopt in your classroom to replicate the flexibility and individual focus of a homeschooling environment?
Brinda, would you like to answer this question?
Yeah, I just want Gurdeep to read out the question once more so I can exactly focus on the key terms.
Fine, I'll read it again, ma'am.
Yeah.
Like the one in the chapter, a child, here child is Shomie Das. He learns to read, write, and do arithmetic in a home-based setting for a few hours daily. And this routine includes storytelling, exploration, and breaks for creativity. So there is a strong emphasis on balancing academics with the free play. Now
Yeah.
the question is, as a teacher, what strategies can we adopt in our classroom to replicate the flexibility and individual focus that homeschooling provides?
Brinda, 90 seconds
Yeah.
only. We are
Pardon me?
for 90 seconds, please.
All right. Okay. So I think this is what essentially we should be focusing in our classroom, where we design our lesson plans in such a way that there is everything that has been suggested in this chapter. So we have children doing a little bit of play, but the play has to be designed in such a way that it results in learning. So whether it is arithmetic or whether it is English or social science, or in the higher classes maybe even physics and math, can be taught through activities which would be like a game, like something that the children are playing at. So they're developing a skill in that, and they're also learning something which is very academically important. So this kind of a lesson plan is possible, and that is what we focus on creating every time we do a planning of the lessons in the class. So when we in the junior school, a lot of schools now focus on what is known as an integrated plan. So in an integrated plan, we include subjects which can be taught together with activities which are considered as co-scholastic. So this planning can easily be done. It needs thinking, it needs a little bit of creativity. It basically needs a lot of visionary thinking, in the sense that you need to take a topic and think, okay, now what can I do in the math class? What can I do in the English class? What can I do in the art class? Or for that matter, in the music class, which will all connect to this particular topic. So it can be planned and it can be done beautifully in
Thank
the
you,
classroom.
Brinda.
Thank you.
We have another question which follows up on the same thought. Drawing from the idea of a home-like atmosphere. Look at the way we use the word home-like
Home-like.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
What elements, example, comfort, emotional security, a sense of belonging, can you bring into your teaching space to support your students' growth and well-being? This is like an answer to the first question, Brinda. If you can
Absolutely.
put
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah.
And yet there is one more question in last week's reflection. What are the key advantages and challenges of homeschooling compared to traditional schooling?
Yeah.
Again, this is making you think deeper.
Yes.
The two important elements which I want to highlight on this, that the academic growth and social skills plus well-being which happen in homeschooling have an added advantage.
Yeah.
And I have statistics somewhere where Today, about 15 lakh people across the world are homeschooling. This is
I was
not a
just going to say
verified
that
statistic.
after COVID, it has increased,
Absolutely.
Sandeep.
So this is not a verified status. This is an
Yeah,
AI generated figure. I did
that's right.
AI work before this. About 15 lakh people are homeschooling.
That's
And
right.
if you look at things like what our friend Lena Usher is doing, Dreamtime Learning, there's entire homeschooling for a whole curriculum.
Yeah.
So it is possible. So please reflect on chapter 11 and you must comment. You must comment below that. That keeps us going and it gives you a feeling of well-being. It gives us an emotional connect with you. In webinars, the only way where we see your expression, where we feel what you're doing is when we read your comments below. So we made it very simple. You don't have to send any emails. You don't have to send any reflections. No WhatsApp chatting is required. After this session at 6:30 precise, today's reflections will be available to you. We'll try and give you the reflections even 10 minutes before. So you may want to write the comment today itself. And that's how we want to use our 60 minutes every Saturday. Let's start on chapter 12, my dear Gurdeep. Okay. Shomie Das, the man who saw tomorrow, concept of creation. The 1980s was drawing to a close, hurtling towards a new order after a momentous decade that saw the Berlin Wall crumble and the emergence of new computer technologies. India too was evolving with a law that granted 18-year-olds the right to vote, becoming one of the symbols of change. But some things don't change, and one of them being the allure of the civil services. Imagine 1980 and imagine today. Look at the pressure on the civil services entrance. It's mind-bogglingly multiplied. It's really exponentially grown. So the interesting part of the book is these chapters are now alternating between two journeys. One is Shomie's journey as a teacher, and second is Naga's journey and his connections with Shomie. So Naga is sharing his journey in this chapter. He alternates the book beautifully. Shomie, Naga, and ultimately Shomie and Naga meet, and that's how Oak Ridge is born. So this is the way the book is structured. From ambitious urban youths to those in the rural hinterland, the pull of the bureaucracy with its accompanying privileges that come with power and status unites all, irrespective of background. To be honest, I was no exception. For a while, this fascination would draw me into the race. I had even joined a coaching center, like thousands of others. All, all of us young graduates enamored of the promise of success these institutes offered. Today, it's such a huge industry. Some people might say it's a case of sour grapes. I leave that to my readers to draw from their own conclusions. But what I experienced left me disappointed. There were hardly any good teachers, and most of those who took classes at these centers dictated from old notes, compiled from the ears, in a way that was reflected the general attitude to study. All that mattered was how to crack the test. So many would sit for learning was secondary. I too recollect in 79, I ended up going to Sachdeva PT College for some medical entrance. In our age, they were the masters of medical entrance at that time. So this is typically how they described it. They give you questions, here are the answers, these questions will come, please write this. There was no learning in the whole process. So I pulled out from this race. Well, Naga, even I pulled out from that race. Despite the fact I gone to a medical college, I decided not to go into the race. It was not for me. Then one day, while talking about my experiences with my friend Prasanna, who still dreamt of joining the country's elite bureaucracy, the idea struck. Why not start an education center, perhaps a junior college? And if we did start one, how different would the institute be from the others? I later discussed the idea with Raj. That was the genesis of Vikas, and eventually Oak Ridge. But wait, we are getting ahead of the story. Let's rewind a bit to the time when Raj and I were still small town boys in Newswid, on the cusp of adulthood. Last chapter was Shomie's childhood story. Now it is their childhood story. It's a story full of twists and turns, rambling in places, at times even seemingly irrelevant to the main plot. But then life hardly travels in a straight line. It's also a story rich in memory, which with deep personal tributes and full of little lessons, valuable enough not to be forgotten. Now, that's the beauty of homeschooling. That's the beauty of schooling in a small town village. That's the beauty of going to a school with one teacher, which is as good as homeschooling. Large number of village schools have one teacher. I think that's perfect homeschooling to an extent. A unique teacher. Raj and I went to the same tuition master when we were in the 10th grade. Vishnu Sharma was a unique person. In those days, he would tuck his shirt in and look very dapper. And because he was different from others, he would make fun of him. We would make fun of him. Behind his back, of course. But he could be strict too. He would take only 20 students from the 10th grade and cherry pick those he wanted in his tuition class. The two of us were among the 20 he selected, though we had no intention of joining the tutorial lesson sessions. The daughter of our school headmistress also studied in the same school, but Vishnu sir refused to admit her to his tuition class. He told her that 20 students had already been selected and that was the limit. And no, he wasn't going to budge, period. I have later on mentioned this in many of my talks when referring to Oak Ridge. In the very first year of starting Oak Ridge, we got a request to admit the then education minister's grandson. If the boy was to be admitted, it would have been to be over and above the limit of 25 students we had set for each class. We stuck to the rule and refused him a seat. I'm proud to say that we never broke the rule at Oak Ridge. There was pressure from politicians and other influential people, but we never violated this rule, and that was our guiding compass. Coming back to Vishnu Sharma, one of his colleagues once asked him, "You are a respected teacher, but everybody makes fun of you. Still, you always remain cheerful." Now we are actually describing a beautiful teacher. "How could you be like that?" The tuition master replied. "Look, once you are prepared to accept garlands, you have to be prepared for the stones too." What a good message. Vishnu Sharma lived in Hyderabad for the last years of his life as a bedridden invalid till he passed away. Raj and I used to visit him occasionally till his last days. So very nice quote by Vishnu Sharma. Look, once you are prepared to accept garlands, you have to be prepared for the stones too. Let's capture this. The first time we went, we were visiting him after a long gap of 20 years. There was no way the lady of the house could recognize us. But because she knew we were coming, she came to the door and addressed us by our names. When we asked how life was, she said, "Your sir is bedridden with old age. I'm old, so I'm bent, but God is great and we're happy." How beautiful is mentioning life. God is great and we're happy. She was just counting her blessings. That is a precious lesson. Although confined to bed, Vishnu Sharma would continue giving tuition to those looking for departmental promotions and for students appearing at the civil services. He kept himself active. And that is a lesson to learn. We probably did not go to a top school. We studied in Telugu medium and had very low academic standards, yet we learned rich lessons. And that stood us in good stead later in life when we went through times of crisis. Very heartwarming story of childhood years of Naga and Raj. Now we go on to college years. What we are trying to highlight in this chapter is how teachers come into our lives and what they do to us. And the entire last section shows the humility of the teacher. It shows the love of the teacher for the student, that despite being in bed, he still would teach. And that's what makes our teachers special. Our teachers never have a holiday. They are so wedded with their professions. It's Saturday evening and we are all here. Thank you. College years. After finishing intermediate, Raj would move to Bhimavaram, where he studied engineering, while I continued in the same college in Newsville as a BSc student with mathematics as my main subject. As luck would have it, the year I was supposed to be my master's at Nagarjuna University, it was declared a 0 year. This meant I would lose a year. Since I didn't want to miss an academic year, I went off to Sagar in Madhya Pradesh for my MSc in maths. That gave me a different exposure to life. I was in Sagar for 2 years. It was a place where no one spoke English. I'd come from a rural Telugu speaking place to the Hindi heartland, and it tested my resilience and ability to cope with the demands and requirements of the place. I had been removed from my comfort zone to a new place, which was a huge experience in itself. In fact, within a few months, I had picked up some broken Hindi, enough to carry on a conversation. While I was completing my second year MSc, my father told me to focus on studying for the civil services and asked me to shift to Delhi. That shift to Delhi was in different league altogether. The struggle to survive in Delhi was another huge learning experience. I joined Delhi University for a master's in operations research, but my focus was on preparing for the civil services exams. In all, I would be away from Newswood for 4.5 years, including the 2.5 years I spent in Delhi. Eventually, I would return to Andhra, as staying and studying in Delhi was expensive. Among other things, I also wrote the test to get admission into a law university and ranked 15th in the Andhra Pradesh State Law Entrance Examination. But then I had almost made my mind not to sit for the civil services exams, but had still enrolled in the coaching center in Visakhapatnam. Prasanna, the friend I had mentioned before, had also enrolled in the same coaching institutions. A few weeks into the course, we realized what a sham it was. This center promised the sky, but when it came to delivery, it was pathetic. There were no other teachers to talk about, and all they did was dictate notes. We were disappointed. Then one day, while Prasanna and I were chatting, we wondered how it would be if we started a junior college and how we would go about it differently. In those days, residential junior colleges were in vogue in Vijayawada, Guntur, and Nellore, but the concept had not caught up in Visakhapatnam yet. I went back and discussed the idea with Raj. He had completed his engineering course and was involved in the family business, but liked the idea. I suggested to Raj that we start a junior college. Prasanna too was supposed to join us, but he got selected in Group 2 Public Service Commission examinations. Raj and I went ahead and started Vikas Junior Residential College in Visakhapatnam in 1993. So that was how it began, a journey where enterprise and education would be partners in equity. I want to pause here. This week, if you look at the website of schooleducation.com, we've kind of rewritten our mission statement. And what we looked at and what we've been doing all these years, we thought that it's important for us to really have a differentiating factor. So what we have summarized as to what we are doing together is Good School Alliance, transforming education, fostering collaboration between schools and stakeholders is essential for promoting the joy of learning and entrepreneurship. So Brinda, you may like to read this and see how we have crafted it within those 80 words. Fostering collaboration between schools and stakeholders is essential for promoting the joy of learning and entrepreneurship. Now, if you go to the website, you will see a joy of learning menu. In the joy of learning menu, you will see 4 programs. You will see My Good School, you will see Happy Teachers, you will see Youth Engaging Society, and you will see Joy of Giving, which is the retreat. Youth Engaging Society are the workshops we are doing. So these are the 4 programs. And what we are talking about entrepreneurship, in that we give you internships, we give you fellowships, you can make podcasts, you can make videos, you can make a newsletter. And this is what helps you prepare for entrepreneurship. So enterprise in education is happening very much on your doorsteps at My Good School. Of course, a lot of legal work, legwork and research would precede an actual founding of the institution, and it would be a difficult ride, not least because of finances. But the two of us, young and ambitious, were determined. Backing out was not an option. As they say, once you decide, the universe conspires to make it happen. The journey begins. Neither of us had any money nor any experience of running a college. We did some math and found that we needed a minimum of rupees 4 lakh to start with. Through family connections, we sought advice from the founder of an institution who told us to always remember 3 things. The first thing he told us was not to start a business in partnership. His reasoning was that when business starts reaping profits, it would inevitably lead to conflict over who would take the credit. And if it failed, the issue would be what about who would take the blame. He went on to say that if Raj and I wanted to remain friends, we should not get into a partnership. The second thing he said was that in any enterprise related to education, there would always be parents who would blame us if something went wrong. But if we tried to prove the parents wrong, we would lose the student. So our job was not to prove the parents wrong. Rather, we should learn to swallow our egos. This is the challenge we all face in schools, trying to prove the parents wrong. Third, he said, if there are 2 partners, one has to play the benevolent role, while the other takes a more aggressive approach, just like in a family. And invariably, it is the one who plays the benevolent role who gets the credit. Throughout our journey, we remembered these suggestions and have benefited from them. Raj and I picked up valuable tips from elsewhere too. We went to other institutions, some successful, some that were not doing well, just to understand what they were doing. The research took us 6 months before we started, but that bit of homework helped. Our learning has been continuous even after that, but it was tough to begin with. We couldn't mobilize the rupees 4 lakh that we needed. We eventually managed to raise rupees 3.5 lakh and started Vikas. Our next challenge was getting the numbers. Challenge we all face. Thankfully, we managed that. We had planned to have 200 students and we got 196. We also made it a rule that we wouldn't admit beyond the number, and that we wouldn't take students who had scored below 60% in their 10th class exams. We had to work very hard to get good teachers. We did our research and went to different people well known in Visakhapatnam. And during these discussions, we picked up names. We made a list of subjects and possible teachers. With the list in the hand, we approached some senior people and said we wanted these teachers. They would look at the names and ask us why these teachers would join our junior college. Our stock reply would be because we want to build an institution. By this time, Raj's father-in-law had been posted at Visakhapatnam as the regional director of homeopathy, and we tapped all his contacts. We also contacted all our relatives who had migrated from other districts. All this happened organically. That's how most entrepreneurship happens. Vikas had got underway, our first foray into education as an enterprise. That too in a small place different from where we had grown up. That's another takeaway from this period. At some point or the other, we need to move away from our comfort zone if we want to learn and grow. This is why we are here together. We need to move away from our comfort zone if we want to learn and grow. And that's why we are insisting on this entire continuous professional development. That's why we are saying, push yourself, join us for 51 Saturdays, and we are there to hold your hand. Believe us. I'm sure Brinda is there, Gurdeep is there, Manisha is there, Jugjeev sir is there. We have nothing at stake in this. It's your future, it's your learning that's at stake. So put that on the mat and get going. It's important for you to do these three things: reading with us and reading more than that. Reflections which come by as comments, as posts. And yes, challenge yourself to attend as many sessions as you can. Challenge yourself to do as many reflections and posts as you can. And if you do intend to step up to a certificate program, please do. You can't tell us after the year you want a certificate. If you want to go for the certificate program, please register. The certificate program is 2500 rupees only. We will help you with as many posts. We will help you with edits. We'll help you with production. We will even give you one-to-one counseling to help you do your posts. So that much of an effort goes in creating a blog post. Do sign up for the certification program. It's very simple. Go to diljito.com and use the join button. Many years earlier, Shomie too had to move away from the comfort zone of home learning to boarding school in Dehradun. What he picked up in the process would stay with him. Let's go back then and find out what he learned at Dehradun School. That's your bookmark for today. Chapter 13 will be next time. Time for reflection for chapter 12. So today's masterclass, it's the 25th. Use the home button. Click on the top. Click on the banner. Yeah, just click on the banner. Oh, you've come here. Okay. So today's masterclass, and we have talked of concept of creation. Brinda, why do you think this heading was chosen, concept to creation?
I think, they're talking about creating an institute which, according to them, is going to be a valuable one. And it's going to do something which would do different things other than what they had themselves experienced in some of the institutions that they belong to. So I think this concept to create is very, very important to think about.
Yeah, Brinda, if you see in this, there are 2-3 reasons in that. So in this case, one way of looking at the concept is they are trying to structure their lives also.
Absolutely.
And they are trying to structure their lives on their dreams of entrepreneurship, but yet they are very passionate about education.
Yes.
So, and in this
Yes.
concept to creation, they have, how they have described is their idea has been put into action.
Yeah.
And in all these cases, what matters is the community around us, our links, like they've said, organically. So I would come to you and ask if I'm starting something. I would go to some friends and ask, I'm starting something.
Yeah.
And normally friends and family make your community and they hold your hand. And that's what has happened here. So question one for us to think is, life rarely moves in a straight line. How can teachers support students in adapting to new environments or systems? Drawing parallels to the resilience demonstrated by the founders in navigating different cultural contexts. So if you see in this case, Naga story is very interesting. Grew up
And the different cultural contexts are
from a
so
Telugu
obvious.
background,
Yeah.
came into from rural to urban,
Yeah,
And from urban, he challenged himself to move to the Hindi heartland.
absolutely.
Hindi heartland, he came to a solid English-speaking
Yeah.
university, and that's the cultural context. And I
Mm.
think if you look at his life,
Yeah.
from childhood to almost like homeschooling to where he ended up in Delhi,
Yes.
that itself is the making of a teacher.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, would we have any comments on this, Brinda? We are going to encourage people now to sit silently and write the comments, because
That's good. Yeah.
that's what we need. So, please comment here. We will wait for 3 minutes. We will answer the next question at 6:10. Brinda, I hope you like this new format.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
At least it's urging people to think and put their thoughts together and pen it down, which is what most of us don't do, penning it down.
absolutely. So, you
Yeah.
can also make a voice note at the
Yeah,
moment and then fill it up later.
that is also a
We
good
won't hear
idea.
you. We won't hear you. So I'm giving you
Yeah,
a trick to learn. Just record
right.
your voice. You don't have to write the comment like Gurdeep is writing.
Mm.
You can just record your voice note. You can send yourself a WhatsApp. You
Yeah,
can write notes on your notebook. If you have a book, you can write in the column.
that's right.
We are looking at life in the cultural context. So while Gurdeep is writing, I will let her write, and I'm sharing the screen. I just wanted to give you a new feel of the website. Just have a look at it. This is the Teachers Academy page. And we urge you to join up for the program for certification, because the certification program will give you 3 clear deliverables. You can
Mm.
actually decide to create 5, 6 interesting blogs in the year, not more than that. You can challenge yourself to a podcast. You can challenge yourself to a video. Once you've done those 4, 5 assignments and you've attended sessions, it's self-assessment.
Mm.
Your assessments on the blog automatically as self-assessments, because minute we see minimum 5 posts, you are ready for the certificate. And 5 posts in a year, I think, Brinda, anyone and everyone has managed in my last 10 years.
Yeah, I think that's not a difficult task at all. They
Yeah,
should be able to do that. And
absolutely.
if they're aspiring to be teachers, I think they can get into, and if they are already teachers, not only aspiring to be, but they're
we
aspiring to
have
be,
we have ready teachers. This is aspiring
yeah,
there.
they have to become better at their skill of teaching. If they want to do that, then they will have to learn to write it.
Yeah.
And
So your certificates will give you very clear that you qualify for 50 hours of continuous professional development. There will be a report from your coach and your self-assessment. So that will give you something fulfilling to reach with. And that's the story of yourself as becoming a happy teacher. Now, this is continuous professional development. Now we go back to the page where Gurdeep is writing. She's still writing. I let her write. So we were at these questions. It's now 6:10. We'll try and answer the second question. So see, the answers are coming here. Thank you,
wow.
Manisha. Thank you, Gurdeep.
Mm.
So this is how we want reflections. I have let Gurdeep be on her screen and hijack the screen for the simple reason that gives her the comfort to write.
Mm.
Thank you, Gurdeep, for the response. So the next question. The situation where all that mattered was how to crack the test and learning was secondary has been described. Does this still prevail today? That's the question. Do you think this happens with you around? How
It happens all
can,
the time.
yeah, how can educators balance the focus on exam and fostering a genuine love for learning? So we will pause for the next 4 minutes. At 6:15, we want some comments. Over to you, people. I'll put myself on mute and we'll have silence for 4 minutes so you can write. I've yet to see a comment come. I'm waiting for your comments, please. Please write on the blog. Don't comment in the chat box. And in case you're commenting in the chat box, then we can pick it up, but I would not like that. Similarly, if you want to write in the WhatsApp, you can write it. We can pick it up from there and post it for you. But better you write here, because when you write here, it gives you credit. Now, if I pick up from the chat box and write on your behalf, I will take all the credit, which won't be fair to you then. A special thank you to Manisha ma'am. Manisha ma'am, you created this concept of creation questions. And I think that itself is a reflection enough. So what we can do, we will just copy this and so मनीषा जी, जो आपने एक सवाल जवाब लिखे थे, देखो मैंने क्या किया। ये देखो। See, Brenda, how useful this whole tool is. So these are some questions and thoughts which came to Manisha's mind before the session.
Wonderful.
And she wrote about concept and creation. So how does the journey from concept to creation reflect the process of innovation in the real world? Reflect on the ways ideas evolve into tangible outcomes and the challenges that often accompany this transition. What role does persistence play in transforming an idea into reality, as highlighted in this chapter? So this is thought provocation. And if you go back to your classroom, you have to see how ideas translate to action. And you as a teacher have to play a very crucial role in this. So this is the way reflections come. So Brinda, are you going to attempt a reflection?
I'm so challenged in writing on this now.
You have to write. Just go on your screen, happyteacher.in.
Okay.
You have to be a happy teacher. We are here only to challenge you and get you to write. Because most of the teachers have forgotten how to write and use technology. And let me tell you, I'm saying something loudly. We will meet January next year. 25% of you will lose your jobs.
I know.
25% will lose your jobs in the next 12 months. Mark what I'm saying today. You can record what I'm saying.
You're
Because
absolutely right, Sandeep. And I think unless we keep sharpening our own skills, our own tools, we are redundant.
you've already given yourself a license of redundancy.
Yeah.
I'm happy to sign it and send it today as a certificate.
Yeah.
So my 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. I bother you people with thoughts every day, because when I wake up, my brain is hyperactive at 5 a.m. So
Yes.
with bhajans in the background, I try and read every day, and I manage that, and I'm grateful to God for this gift. So I
You know,
urge
when my phone goes, I mean, when it kind of gives the sound of a message coming, I know it is yours. The first message in the morning.
Yeah,
So,
I live in a borderless world because I connect with people from Vancouver to Sydney. So
yeah.
for me, this day and night is a figment of imagination. I'm using this phrase second time today. I remember that much. So I said, in a borderless world, there's no day night. India is the global center of knowledge management today for the world.
Absolutely. I just wanted to share a thought, Sandeep. What came to my mind is that, it's non teachers, professionally non teachers like you, like Jugjeev, like the author of this book, initially a non teacher. They are the ones who are lending themselves so generously to creating good teachers. This is a very interesting thought which everyone should also reflect upon, because we are talking about people like you getting into this forum to create good teachers. So that's
Brinda,
interesting for
Brinda
teachers to
Ghosh,
also look at.
Brinda Ghosh,
Yes,
my good school tomorrow is 173. And I'm
yes.
telling children, don't go to school, only come to Sunday school. So we have gone way beyond, way beyond this content now.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
now we are, pushing teachers to learn the ideas we use and employ them in your day-to-day life. It's
Absolutely.
important for you to do that. So we'll move on to the next question. We are still waiting for your comments We still don't see them. Let me refresh the screen. अब ये बिना का गीत माला की तरह हो रहा है, आपको कॉल इन करना पड़ेगा, मैसेज भेजना पड़ेगा। बिना का गीत माला तो आपकी जिंदगी से पहले की बात है, परंतु उसमें फोन पे बात करते थे अमीन सयानी साहब और जवाब देते थे। अभी मनीषा जी ने एक और कमेंट लिखा है मेरे स्क्रीन पे, यहाँ भी पॉपअप आ जाता है, और यहाँ से जब पॉपअप आता है मैं इसको रिफ्रेश कर लेता हूँ, और इसको रिफ्रेश करने के बाद मेरे पास जो भी नया कमेंट इसके नीचे आया है वो आ जाएगा, और इसकी अगर रिप्लाई भी आप करेंगे आप यहाँ पे कर सकते हैं। सो दिस हियर मनीषा has written something. Change is inevitable, but it's also a chance to develop new skills, discover strength we didn't know we had, and ultimately become better versions of ourselves. So rather than resisting change, students should be encouraged to embrace it as a part of their personal development. And you are the students here. I'm actually finger pointing at you. You are the students here, remember that. Manisha has been very polite in writing students and not teachers. I should have written teachers there. Teachers should be encouraged to embrace it as a part of their personal development. And that's why at my good school, we write day in and day out, personal and social development, which is the core of any professional learning. If you can't address that, then I'm sorry, you're outdated, expired, and not relevant to the teaching profession anymore today. Sorry, I'm saying these hard sentences today. My due apologies. I love the teachers. I don't feel like saying these, but it's a wake up call today for the world. It's a wake up call for India today. We are providing the maximum teachers for the world, and our teachers better be of quality. And like Brinda said, there's so many of us here today. Jugjeev and Naga are just two examples. And on my LinkedIn, I have over 9,000 connections. And believe me, out of the 9,000 connections, 6,000 plus are not teachers who are in school, but they are committed to the profession. They are committed to the learning ecosystem. And that's the beauty of today. You've never been at a better time than today if you are going to take your learning forward. There has never been a better time than today. And my last 15 years of professional development for teachers, starting 212 in focus, I put somewhere some trivia today that in 212 I started this journey of trying to hold hands with teachers and trying to go help them go through the professional learning program. And today is 2025. So there's 13 years of work behind what you see here. And the 13 of years of work, you can even hear this proof here. 2009 was our baby step, and 212 onwards you will see we catapult. So 212 we took off, and then slowly we have built up and we have reached here. So the next question, which is very interesting, you are a respected teacher, but everybody makes fun of you. Still, you've always remained cheerful. As a unique teacher, how do you maintain positivity and resilience in the face of criticism or challenges? What strategies do you use to stay focused on your purpose as an educator despite external opinions? And how can this help you inspire your students? Gurdeep, please unmute and answer this question.
Okay, so I think a very interesting question is this. So it is very, very important for an educator to remain cheerful. Obviously, as an educator, we face criticism. And what should be our role? Like, first, there should be a sense of self-awareness and that clear understanding of our purpose as an educator. So what strategies can we use to face criticism is positive attitude, number one. Number two, practicing mindfulness. And number three, focusing on like rewards of teaching. So that purpose should be clear. Obviously, criticism will happen, we'll face challenges in our life, but positive attitude is important. And in this way, when we are handling like criticism with graceness, it will automatically, like it will flow to the students as well. They'll also feel more confident in overcoming their own challenges if they see their teachers overcoming the challenges. So in this way also learning is happening.
Gurdeep, I love your gracefulness.
Fullness, yeah.
Gracefulness.
Fullness, yeah.
I just want to say one thing, if I may add to this.
Sure.
I think what is most important is the courage of conviction. When you have the conviction that what you're doing is right, then it doesn't bother you what others have to say about you. Whether they're making fun of you or praising you hardly matters, because all the praise also is not going to make you so elated that you only work for that. So it doesn't happen. You reach a stage when you think that, okay, this is the right thing to do and I'm going to do this. I couldn't care less what people are going to say about me. So that is important.
Brinda,
Yeah.
here's something to read.
Yes.
Look what I'm writing.
Courage to be disliked. Okay, courage to teach by.
But yeah. Parker. Parker Palmer.
Palmer.
Yeah.
Palmer Parker.
Parker. Palmer
Parker Palmer or
Parker
Parker?
Palmer.
Yeah, Parker Palmer.
Yeah. I've got the book and I keep going back to it again and again and again.
Yeah. I think we need to go back to it. And one of these days, I have a little podcast which I made after I read the book. I
Right.
wrote it down. Manisha, just remember to find that podcast somewhere. Is there on Courage to Teach?
Huh.
There's an interesting comment which I only left, so that has popped up. Now I'm going
Right.
to head to Manisha. She is going to get this bouncer of question 4. Like the founders of Vikas Junior Residential College, you strive to create a unique environment in your classroom. Manisha, you're always talking of entrepreneurship, and you have become an entrepreneur, not trying to become. With your investing and jumping into as a stakeholder in the Learning Forward India Foundation, your dreams of entrepreneurship have come alive. How do you differentiate your teaching to inspire critical thinking and creativity in your students? Your turn, Manisha.
The question is actually very interesting. So, what would I like to say here is my teaching to entrepreneurship. What would I like to suggest or to tell everyone is like people should stay grounded and should be seeing the other side of the wall as well, because my right cannot be the right for every other person. So my right can be their wrong. So instead of just asking them to do certain work on their own, the guidance and should be there, so to guide them properly as per the demand and showing some empathy will be working out here.
What
And
else do you think? No, if I go here, you see the heading on top,
yes, sir.
Manisha? Look how you've perhaps not seen this week. So this is the design now. You go here, what you're talking about entrepreneurship. This is what we are saying. I said, here, look, this is how you can find entrepreneurship with us. When you work as interns, you find entrepreneurship. When you join fellowships, Brinda, aspiring teacher, Kunal is here, who's doing fellowship. And then there are 4-5 teachers who have signed up for fellowships. So this is
Wow.
what to bring up. So Manisha, I'm sure we can encourage teachers here to sign up for the fellowship program. That is very essential because that will bring in you the spirit of entrepreneurship, which we have talked today. And as you will be out of job next year on a laughing light note, and entrepreneurship is calling you to the Learning Forward Foundation. So next January, all of you can join us if you are stressed by the system. So you can apply for a internship from here. Sorry, fellowship. It's a fellowship for you because you are a young professional and teachers always stay young. The only requirement for signing a fellowship is 18 years of age. Gurdeep is a fine fellow here. Thank you, Gurdeep, for setting the example. So if you look at entrepreneurship skills, which we are putting in front of you, which perhaps Raj and my friend Naga didn't have, they didn't have the opportunity for internships. They didn't have opportunity for fellowships. Those days you didn't make newsletters like you do today. And let me tell you, I must appreciate the way on Sunday, some of the schools have started creating newsletters and involving the interns. It's fantastic. Then you make content. It's like today's session, you can make a YouTube and send to us. You will learn the art of making a video. You learn the art of production. You will learn the art of music, color, sound, balance, scripting. You learn so much when you create a YouTube video. You will enhance your digital skills. And likewise, you can make a podcast. So what we are really saying is how we are spreading the joy of learning for teachers is we are referring to these four things: reading, reflection, relationships, and professional learning. Brinda, you want to add anything more to this menu at Learning Forward, which you have so ably nurtured for the last almost 5-7 years?
I think, Sandeep, it has almost everything that we wanted to have: reading, reflection, relationships, and professional learning. Wonderful.
So, Brinda, here we have tried to describe why continuous professional development. And if you go back to the new education policy, it says
Yeah.
50 hours.
50 hours.
Yeah, but Brenda, have you seen the story of Habandea School? It didn't happen with 50
Yeah.
hours. It
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
with 90 hours in year 1, 120 in year 2,
Absolutely.
and 150 in year 3.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And today, Bharti Rao is principal of the school.
Imagine. Wonderful thing that is.
So it's actually shown how the whole cycle turns. And Brenda, we are
Absolutely.
almost 900 students in the school today.
Huh.
We were
That's such
we
a
were
lovely
320.
growth.
I said we
Yeah.
were 320, and we've built infrastructure, we've trained teachers, and
Yeah.
the teachers, who are the teachers? They are, and you believe me, almost 15% is students of school who become teachers.
Yeah, yeah.
That's another beautiful aspect. But that happened because of 90 hours, 120 hours, and 150 hours. And look, we're only asking 50 hours. I think that's
Yeah.
I think that's too little. We are there to help you. We believe teachers possess the ability to get to the heart of the matter. That's the beauty. And every school can nurture extraordinary educators. We hope to empower you. We love you for being here. And we hope you to see more of you. Please spread the word around in your schools that we are there to see more of you. Please spread the word. We are here every Saturday, and we will continue even for the last teacher standing. That's what we believe at My Good School. At this stage, I want to give a big thank you to Dinah ma'am. Dinah heads Purkul Youth Development Society, PYDS. And Brinda, we have fallen in love with them. They married My
Wow.
Good very recently. So
Right.
PYDS is now one of your 5 schools.
Yeah.
Fabulous School first.
Hmm.
Second, the Arthur Foot Academy. Third,
Yeah.
the Sunbeam Grameen School.
Hmm.
Fourth, Gyanodaya Meerut. And fifth, PYDS.
Wonderful.
So
I'm so happy.
these schools will send us 20 people to the coming retreat in April.
Right.
And 30 people will come from schools like yours.
Wonderful.
The
Wonderful.
retreat will be 30 from schools who have the skills.
Yeah.
And 20 from schools who need the skills.
Okay.
30 will learn how to serve, and 20 will learn how to take.
Right.
So this
Great.
is the design of the retreat, and retreat is happening. I've had a word today with Anup sir at PYDS. We hope Dinah ma'am, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to promote you as a participant for a second. And maybe you can come in and as a panelist. Maybe you want to say something, or in case you want to avoid saying anything, then please join us tomorrow at My Good School, because we are running time at 6:30. So thank you so much. I would have loved to invite more people to talk, but that's all we can do. It's been a wonderful masterclass. 6:30. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Gurdeep, would you like to close with a vote of thanks?
No, thank you, Diana ma'am, for being here and for everybody else. And see you all tomorrow, Sunday school.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Gurdeep. Over to you. Bye bye.
Bye.